Sorry fam, so today I want to share with you my first experience entering a cosplay competition. Right now I've made channels on I've made videos, right, vlogs in my channel where I sort of went over and sort of recorded, documented different conventions that happened here in Cebu of this year, right, mind you, because before last year there were no conventions or any large social events thanks to the big P word, the big C, right? But now it was announced that, or I've even mentioned this in one of my vlogs, right? It was announced that we are expected to have more conventions, more anime conventions, hobby conventions, games, K-pop, and literature, and all sorts of of themes, right? That pertain to the idea of artists, creativity, hobbies, and the like. We have more of those coming this year, 2023, and so on, hopefully, and yeah, it's just really a really exciting position to be in, a really exciting place to be in, considering that we haven't done this in quite some time, right? Now, this particular competition that I'm talking about or referring to is one that is not really, too big, or what are not really well known, so to speak, right? That a lot of people would join in, but it is something that is actually a part of my university's intramural events, and this opportunity presented itself to me, and I just thought, you know what, in those past conventions, those past vlogs that I've recorded and videoed on, where I went over all of these conventions, I was just cosplaying, right? And even before I did the whole this whole YouTube thing, in all of the event conventions that I've went to, I've just enjoyed my time there and just cosplayed whatever I want, right? Whenever I want, whenever I felt like it. But I never really had the chance to really go on a full blown, enter a cosplay competition and go full blown serious, right, in winning it. And that's also one of the things that I wanted to talk or share about with you today, fam, about the whole situation of cosplay, especially for a person like me who has a lot of limitations, which I'll talk about again later. But going back, right, this particular cosplay competition is held at my university, and with the whole opportunity itself, I just wanted to give it a try, and also to gain a bit of experience here and there on what it would look like, what it would feel like, right? And that feeling of joining a cosplay competition, right, it's as beautiful as I imagined, and I can't wait to share about it with you, which I'll do right now, actually. Yeah, let's do it. So there were two events that was held in 2 days, right? In 2 days, that gave me the opportunity to cosplay, because both of the events are in relation to cosplay and the like, right? The first of which, on the first day, right, is an event called HobbyCon, where, well, it's as it sounds like, it's a convention for hobbyists. There were merch booths, there are artist alley booths, and the highlights of the event essentially were four competitions, right? The first one is the anime quiz bowl. The second is a rock paper scissors competition, or was it? Yeah, a rock paper scissors competition. And the third is a voice acting competition, and the fourth is a K-pop dance competition. I want to walk you through first with the anime quiz bowl. Now, this particular quiz is, well, as it is, it's an anime quiz bowl to test your knowledge on anime. There are multiple choice questions, identification questions, and yeah, that's essentially it. But it was fun, right? Because this particular event is one where you need two pairs, right, to compete in. But unfortunately, I knew of no one who would want to join me at the moment. I knew of no one who would want to join this event but me. When I asked the organizers if it would be okay to play this solo, it's okay, and I did it solo, and I am happy with how far I've gotten, although I didn't take first place, which, by the way, I have to say that this is really cool, because as far as I remember, right, the prizes for this particular event, the first place takes 750 pesos, which is, it's quite a lot, yes, plus merchandise, which is absolutely insane. Second place, 500 pesos with merchandise, and third place is 250 pesos with merchandise. I didn't get either of places, but I still had fun. The second was a rock paper scissors competition where, you know, rock paper scissors, janken right? And it's, if you lose, you're out, right? Then the winner moves on to the next. If they lose, they're out until only one winner remains. It's that sort of competition, right? I believe the prize was also merch, which was pretty cool, right? And on my first try, I had two draws, and then on the third match, or third rematch rather, I lost, which sucked. Ready? Next was the voice acting competition where you'd voice act, right? You would say the line that the host would give in whatever sort of manner. For instance, you would say "Omae mo shindero" in a, let's say, a feminine voice, right? For instance, and you know, they would act that out, and there would be judges who would, you know, would tell if it's good or not, and so on and so forth. Funnily enough, I actually got fourth place in this competition, which I'm really surprised and proud of myself, honestly. Yeah, I am happy that I made it that far, but unfortunately fourth place doesn't warrant a prize, which sucked. Now, I did not join the K-pop dance competition particularly because I don't have a strong interest in, you know, K-pop or dancing in general, or no, not dance rather, or yeah, that whole, you know, agenda, right? But it was still fun. It was still nice, right? And now, right, one of the more, you know, fun ways, right, for me to also join, to enjoy that day, aside from the competitions, was to cosplay. And during that day, I cosplayed as Tatsumi Kotaro from the Zombieland Saga series, because I love him so much. Now, the second day, which is the creme de la creme of this entire enjoyable moment in terms of my university, right, which is the cosplay competition. I believe the title of it was Campus Cosplay Craze, right, where you have participants from all sorts of departments join together and enter this cosplay competition. And as usual, there were a lot of Genshin Impact cosplayers, and, you know, be that as it may, that I may find it overrated, right? So me, or whatnot, right? You know, it's hot take, right? But yeah, Genshin Impact, I do love the game, right? Don't get me wrong, I do love it. I love Beidou, I love Yelan, I love all of the characters. This, I don't know, man. It's just me, because I find the idea of a lot of Genshin Impact cosplayers to be, you know what, I don't care anymore. You know what? I was able to find some other good merch as well, like this. This eye keychain. Isn't it cute? I also got this cute little nice Chimera fan from, you know, Spy Family, which is pretty cool. And also this particular thing that I have no idea. I just got lost in the hype and the excitement, I suppose, because it's such, I don't know. It was a rare chance to see someone sell a Yoshino collectible, and I was able to get it at a really cheap price. Really, you know. I don't know what's wrong with me, but I love it. I love it. Weird obsessions aside, in this cosplay competition, there were two categories, the senior and the junior category. For the senior category, it was composed of the college and senior high departments, and for the junior category, it was the junior high department, right? And of course, needless to say, I am part of the senior category, right? And well, okay, now, I don't know if it was because when I saw the announcement, right, that there's gonna be a cosplay competition, and that little register link, right, I clicked it immediately and signed up as fast as I could, right, because I thought the slots were gonna be full. But to my surprise, when I checked the list, right, when I registered upon registration, right, I saw that my name was first on the list. So I am the first contestant. I am the first to to walk the walk, right? And funny enough, right, if that wasn't enough, the first department to do the cosplay competition was the senior division. So that means I am the first ever to walk the runway, which made me super nervous. I mean, there was a whole, the host gave us a whole orientation on how we go about it, right? But I was so excited, I felt, I honestly didn't pay that much attention. I did pay attention, right? But not that much to how the walk would, go for, right? Now, this particular competition is I believe the term was a cosplay ramp, right, which essentially is a catwalk, right, where you just strut your stuff to do these cool poses and act as your character, right? It's different from a skit where you have a wide range of motion, and dialogues and music are involved, right? But with this particular event, it's just cosplay or act as your character, pose, and move in the same mannerism as he or she does, right? And the character that I've cosplayed as in this competition, right, is Nicholas Wolfwood from the Trigun series, specifically rather from the new Trigun Stampede anime rather. My cosplay was one that was super, budgeted, right? But it's super budgeted because, well, as I've said, there are restrictions, right? And that's exactly what I want to talk about. Now, don't get me wrong, right? I really love Nicholas's character, right? I haven't watched the original Trigun, to be honest, right? But I did my research. I've watched a couple of the clips, and I tried to get as much inspiration from the original to that of this newer remake, I believe it was, or a new version, right? A new generation, so to speak. I don't know, but regardless, the Nicholas Wolfwood from the Trigun Stampede anime was still badass as hell, and I absolutely love his character. I genuinely do, right? And his whole outfit just sort of was the kind I was looking for, right? In terms of accessibility, rather, because I had a suit that was on me, I had the polo right on, the glasses, the shades, and well, for my haircut, I didn't have a wig, right? I was, I didn't have a black wig. I was supposed to be, I was supposedly had to have my hair grown out for this, but you know how it is with abiding by the school laws, right? The rules and regulations of it. So I had to trim it down, but regardless, I think I still looked great, right? In fact, if you notice, my Tatsumi Kotaro cosplay, the suit for that is it's the same with that of the of my Nicholas cosplay. And you know what? I'm not ashamed to admit it that I reuse clothes, right? I mean, because everyone does, I suppose. If it matches similarly with that of your character, then why not go for it? Am I right? I'm going to do a Rentaro cosplay, and I'm going to be entering a cosplay competition in the near future as Rentaro because I want to. Now, going back, right, to the budget of the whole thing, right? The outfit and the whole appearance of the character himself, right? I got it already laid down and nice. The problem, or the real challenge, was his weapon. The Punisher, was it, right? The big cross. Because I was torn between whether to choose or whether to refer to the old Trigun's design or the newer, the Trigun Stampede one. And what I've decided to choose was the newer version because it had pretty simple, mechanic to it, right? The color scheme, for instance, because conveniently enough, I had black paint left over from a previous project, so I just used that and recycled. I've also only had to buy this balikbayan box, cardboard essentially, that was in good condition, and that was what I used to create the prop, right? And I only had a couple of weeks to do that. 2 weeks, I believe, or just 2 weeks to make it, to get from buying the materials to making it. And it was sort of a challenge, right? To decide on whether to be accurate or whether to make it, to for convenience of myself, right? Because here's the thing, family, with cosplay or with making props, right? I believe in adjustability and adaptability to your to your comfortability, right? That's a nice line, right? Adaptability to your comfortability, or something like that, right? Because um I don't have a car, so whenever I go to school or to other places, I commute. So I take the beep, which essentially a, if you don't know, a beep is essentially what we have right here. In the Philippines, it's essentially a bus and a jeepney sort of mixed together. So it's like a mini bus, right, so to speak. Yeah, and you know, the, being the place that we are, right, a lot of passengers come and go, so it's gonna be cramped. So that also means that it's gonna be difficult for me to transport such a big object, right? So the only option that I had left was to scale it down, which was fine as well, because that sort of decision was in line with me trying to buy as little materials as I can for my prop, right? I really want to make this as cheap as possible, right? Cardboard, leftover paint, a few color papers here and there, glue gun, duct tape, sorry, electrical tape rather, and yeah, duct tape, or rather packaging tape, as what I remembered, right? That's what I use. So pretty cheap materials to make that sort of cosplay, and I was happy with the results. Actually, I genuinely am happy with what I have made, and I've also, thought a few steps ahead, right? I've made the dimensions that way. It might be, the cross might be a bit chunky, but I made it that way because in the near future I'm gonna add some attachments to it to make it, as life size as possible, right? Because I really wanted to have the effect of my prop to, um open up its chambers, right? Because and the Wolfwood's weapon, right? Nicholas's weapon is a cross that has a grenade launcher in the back and a machine gun in the front, and I wanted to have that opening effect, right? But it's quite difficult to do that with the time and money that I had, so I just went with the closed version. But nonetheless, it still looked great. And so it was the time for me to do the cosplay competition. When when all the contestants lined up and I was on the first the first on the list, the first on the line, I was pretty nervous. I was yet excited at the same time. I remember a quote that my teachers once told me, right? That that we are not nervous, we are just excited. Excited to get this over with, excited to actually do this very exciting and really fun moment. And when I did the cosplay, or when I did it, my mind was just really focused on getting into character as much as I can. Perhaps I've overdid it a bit, but you tell me. While I was not the winner, right, of both of the senior division category, I still had fun. And now, fam, I want to talk to you a bit, or want to share with you rather, my sort of, perspective on cosplay. Either you would cosplay a person that you were really really fond of, right? You really love this character so much, and whether or not you would want to, repeat that same cosplay again and again in previous events, right? You still stick to that same cosplay because you just love the character so much. And that's how I feel whenever I wanted to cosplay as Rentaro. I just wanted to cosplay as him because I love him. The same with Tatsumi Kotoro. My Tatsumi Kotoro cosplay is one that I've invested quite a bit, right? I've had to buy my vest online, right? I had the suit, I had the shirt, everything down, the glasses, the haircut is, a bit passable, right? But the suit is one thing that I had to buy for myself, and you know that's one of the investments that I had to this character. I'm the type of person who cosplays a character because I love the character, and even though if I enter the competition and I do not win, right, it's fine because I am proud of what I did. But on the other end, there's also that part of me where, if I'm going all out with this, right, I might as well do my very best and cosplay that particular character where I know a lot of people would cheer and really get happy, and of course the details behind the cosplay and costumes themselves would give me a fighting chance to actually win the cosplay competition, right? But for someone like me who's on a budget, my sort of take on this is that I would rather not aim to win. Instead, I would do it for fun, right? I will do this for fun because I know in my heart of hearts that with the competition lined up, or that's presented before me, right? All of the other participants, contestants, even those who are not part of the cosplay competition themselves, their costumes and props were much more better than mine, and I recognize that, right? I admit to that. And I'm not saying that it's bad, right? I'm saying that it's in fact a good thing. In fact, I really, really, applaud them for their creativity, and I absolutely love it. I'm all for creativity to their costumes, right? But the thing is, fam, when you enter when you enter a cosplay competition, I believe that there are two mindsets that you can go for this. Either you can do it just for the fun of it, or for you really aim to win it, right? I think that goes for a lot of things as well, other competitions, I believe, right? Okay, correct me if I'm wrong, but when it comes to something as creative or open to creativity and a lot of skills as well, skills in the way you walk, the way you act, the way you voice and present your character, it also goes into that into the criteria when judging these cosplay competitions, right? A skit or a catwalk type of competition. When I am on a budget, I do it for fun. I do it for fun, and if I really do aim to win, then I must really plan out for months. I mean, it must take me months to plan because I'm also busy with a lot of my academic work and my college and stuff like that, right? It's difficult to balance the schedule, right? And I also have to take into consideration my whole situation, right? The financial status and the sort of conditions that I would have in order to reach the convention in the first place. Because if I was, for instance, right, if I plan to have this really huge prop, all of these costumes, it's gonna be a bit bulky in my luggage, and if I was just gonna be commuting, then it's gonna be difficult for me. I have the option to take a taxi, for instance, but that will be too much, especially that will cost too much, especially if the location is really far away. And in my situation, most of the cases, for most of the part, the location is really really far away. So that sort of factor is always put into consideration whenever I plan my cosplays. Tatsumi Kotoro, for instance, Toru Kirishima in my Charlie cosplay, right? Those cosplays were really lightweight, so all of those things can be easily carried with my bag, and it's fine, right? But for this one, when I had this big cross, it was quite a bit of a challenge, right? Commuting from my place to the campus, and I also had a few stares here and there, wondering why a man in a suit is carrying a cross that looks like a toy. But, well, I don't know. I guess that's my piece of advice for you, family. If you are on a budget, if you are low on time, money, resources, cosplay for the fun of it, or cosplay to win it, whatever you choose to be, as long as it really suits your conditions, because I believe that's the most important thing. If it allows you to be comfortable in the way you commute, the way you wanted to go around and move about things, if it's comfortable to your status, right, to your conditions, then go for it, right? But if you really wanted to win, then you really gotta pour a lot of time, effort, and money, especially money, into this. And money is something that I admit it's not something that I just have on hand. Money doesn't grow on trees. And so, with that being said, right, just be cautious and be aware of your conditions in the way you wanted to cosplay, or on how you plan your cosplays, right? And yeah, I guess that's essentially all that's been covered from these 2 days where I was able to cosplay in at my university, right? It was fun, exciting. The thrill of it was nice, right? And I guess this really made me push myself more to really also enter these cosplay competitions, right? Because you know what, as I've said before, um, I really genuinely do plan to have a to go through with my Rentaro cosplay and enter a cosplay competition, because I want to do it for the exposure, I suppose. Sue me, right? I want everyone to also to know, right, this beautiful manga, this awesome Chad protagonist, and of course have fun with the way I present it. And I'm really excited for future events where I will hopefully have that opportunity to cosplay as Rentaro. And that being said, take care, family. Thank you for listening, and I hope you have a great day.